Moving to Spain 2 years ago was easily one of the best decisions we've ever made. But that doesn't mean living in Spain is for everyone.
Here's some of the main reasons why Americans leave Spain and how you can avoid some of these common problems when you move to Spain. I'm Lainey.
And I'm Shawn.
And this is Days We Spend.
So the first and probably the most obvious reason that people have trouble adjusting to life in Spain is the language barrier. If you're someone like us who is not a native Spanish speaker, moving to Spain can be challenging. But we've even heard from people who are strong Spanish speakers or even native speakers that speaking Spanish in Spain is a bit of an adjustment compared to what they were used to in other parts of the world. Obviously, you're going to want to invest in learning Spanish, ideally before you move to Spain, but especially once you're here. Not only is it an essential skill to master for paperwork and talking to authorities, it's the best way to connect with your adopted community and the people that live there.
We chose Spain partially because we spoke a little bit of Spanish prior to moving here, but also we wanted to speak this language. The expectation of moving somewhere and everyone just speaking English to you and you can get by English is honestly, it's kind of rude. So we really suggest making that effort to speak Spanish. I struggle and wear hearing aids, so it's a whole layer of difficulty for me. So if I can try, you can try. So what we do is we go to the Escuela de Idiomas and we take local classes here in Spanish for extranjeros, for foreigners. We also do flashcards with an app called Anki. I have a tutor that I meet with online for language lessons. And you can do Duolingo. For me, I think Duolingo is better for review of things you already know rather than actually teaching you how to speak that language.
Duolingo is not going to get you there all by itself. People that move to Spain who don't invest in either the time or the money to learn Spanish typically find that they're quite limited. They're a little bit lonelier and they feel like they don't belong. And that's one of the fastest ways to mess up your move to Spain.
Don't be shy about trying to speak Spanish either. We've found that everyone is really, really helpful and okay with our bad Spanish when we do stumble over something, like asking at the butcher shop how to ask for the chicken in sliced. And they were like, it's not in lonchas, that's on the machine. Yeah. It's in filete. So everyone's really friendly if you just ask and try.
When I speak French, bonjour, I get criticized relentlessly. And when I speak Spanish, everyone's like, oh, muy bien. It's an incredibly welcoming culture in our experience here. So don't be afraid. The only mistake is not trying. Another thing that many Americans who move to Spain find challenging is loneliness and social isolation. This is obviously going to vary a lot depending on you and your personality and also the size of the city that you live in. If you move to a little pueblo, it's going to be harder to make friends. A lot of people struggle with this. It definitely is something that we struggled with our first 6 months here in Orense, but there are ways to make friends and feel like you're part of a community, and it's a really important thing to prioritize.
You can join Facebook or meetup groups. There's a lot of opportunities to meet people through activities that these groups put on. A lot of them end up being expat groups because they're other people who are also looking for friends. But you could also join like a Facebook group or a WhatsApp group for people that go hiking, and you can meet other people who enjoy that passion. So put yourself out there and tried some of the activities that are more group activities. I went to a specialized gym and I met the people who worked in that gym, and it was a way for me to meet locals that weren't just other expats.
I also went rock climbing. I've made some acquaintances there, which makes me feel much more at home. Lainey's also found a lot of friendship with dancing. Putting ourselves out and going to little clandestinos, little meetups that they have. It's really the only way to make it happen. Another idea that could help you with your Spanish is to join a language exchange. You can meet someone for coffee once a week. Odds are they're going to be a local if they want to practice their English.
It is hard sometimes to make friends with local Spaniards because typically Spanish people make a tight-knit group of friends in childhood and they keep those friends. We did find it's often easier to make friends with people who've moved into the city that we live, or they're married to those other friends. So finding those local friends who speak Spanish with you is, for us, was mainly through activities or friends of friends.
Yeah. And another thing to remember is that the culture is going to be very different. For instance, getting invited into a Spanish home is very rare. Spaniards typically socialize outside. They go to the plaza, they go to the cafe, they go to the bar. It's not that people don't like you. It's not you, it's them. Learn how to adjust to the pace and the culture here, and you'll end up finding a lot of really lovely people. We have, at least.
Yeah, I mean, making friends as an adult is always challenging, but you just have to put yourself out there and be friendly. Or you could make YouTube videos and people reach out to us. Hi, everyone, we've met in person. You're awesome. So Shawn's an introvert, and he wouldn't leave the house for like a week at a time if I wasn't here. And I'm always like pushing us to go do things or meet new people. I'm like, hey, someone just moved here. Like, we're going to go meet them.
And I'm really grateful. Yeah. I'm really happy that she pushes me out of my comfort zone. That's the point. You're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. Even if like you're like me and you just want to sit in a chair and read a book, have a conversation. You'll be fine.
Another reason people leave Spain is misaligned expectations. This is actually a really big one.
Obviously, you want to move to Spain because something about Spanish life and Spanish culture speaks to you. Maybe you walked the Camino. Maybe you had a great vacation. Maybe you watched a bunch of videos and you're like, that's the life for me. Once they move here, the reality is a little bit different than what they're expecting. And that dissonance can be a really big problem if they're not prepared for it. You can't expect Spain to conform to that idea because it's just not going to work.
Yeah, the American lifestyle is not going to be something you can recreate in Spain. You are here, so live life as the Spanish do.
A simple example is Spanish apartments are laid out very differently than American style apartments. Kitchens are often closed off or have different cooktops. There's just a million little things that we love about Spain, but they take getting used to, not the other way around.
You know, everyone's well aware that life moves at a different pace here. You come to Spain for a slower life, but that also means embracing the siesta and understanding, well, you can't go eat food at 5 p.m. because nowhere is serving food
Nobody's
at 5
open.
p.m.
It's Sunday and I need to get some milk. There's nothing open on Sunday. When you go to a restaurant, the waiter, they're not going to come right over and introduce themselves and give their name.
They saw you, they'll get there eventually. This idea of like, if you're going somewhere, you need to take the time that's expected versus just trying to like eat and run.
You have a train to catch and you want to have lunch in 15 minutes. That's your fault.
If it's a crowded tapas bar, you know you have to navigate your way to the front to catch that eye, and then you wait.
Life here is going to move at a different pace, different speed.
But also the expectation of being able to eat the same way we eat as Americans. When you go to a restaurant, you're not going to be able to substitute a million things on a dish or in the menu because that's just not how it is here. It's not a half calf, no foam, non-fat, double shot latte. You can maybe ask for no tuna on your salad, but that's kind of about the limit.
If you're vegetarian and you order a salad in Spain, there's a 50% chance it's going to have tuna on it. Another really important difference here is that like the internet does not have the answers. Spanish websites are notoriously wild. You'll get really inaccurate information, even from like Google Maps. It says open now. They've been closed for 3 years. And that can be really jarring, again, especially for Americans who are used to up-to-date instant information about anything they want to find out. You are going to have to talk to people in person. You're going to have to ask for directions from the person on the corner. If that's going to be a really big problem for you, you need to look long and hard and realize, why am I moving to Spain? If the only reason you're moving to Spain is like it might be a lower cost of living, you are going to be unhappy because there's going to be so many things that you're going to have to adapt to. It won't be worth the saving.
The Spanish bureaucracy is legendary for being slow and confusing and
weird.
Yeah, it's a lot of papers rather than digital. That is slowly changing. There's a lot more digital options now than there was even 2 years ago. But oftentimes the expectation that bureaucracy was going to happen fast and that things are just going to go is really hindering someone from living their life in Spain.
You will be confused. Embrace it. Trying to make the round peg of Spanish bureaucracy fit into the square hole of your head is going to give you anxiety, stress, and you honestly might burn yourself out. It takes patience. It takes a little bit more fluency with the language. It takes letting go. And people who have a hard time letting go of their American expectations with the law and bureaucracy and requirements, they typically don't last.
When you come in on a visa and you're a foreigner, you can't just live in any apartment. So a lot of landlords really want to have renters default insurance, and we won't qualify for the landlord's default renters insurance because we don't have a Spanish paycheck. And there's no way around that.
It's like one of those catch-22s where you're on a non-lucrative visa, so you have to show that you don't have any income, but to rent an apartment, you have to show that you have income. It sounds maddening. You're right. That's the thing that's really frustrating. You're correct. But you have to work within those constraints. When we ran into that obstacle, we just kept knocking on doors. We went to 7 real estate agents, the inmobiliarias, and we finally found one that was willing to work with us. That was a trying experience. And that was our first month here. That can give some people a really bad taste in their mouth if they're not willing to persevere, push through. Because once you get through, it's wonderful.
And we were really nice to the people and really trying to be understanding and trying to work with the people rather than just being angry and indignant that it was a stupid system.
You will lose. They'll just wait you out. There's not enough stamps on this paper. Come back for more stamps. If this is something you really can't do or you know that it's going to be a problem for you, hire an expert. We've included some links in the description for a preferred translator if you need to get documents translated into or out of Spanish, and someone that can help you with your visa and immigration paperwork. So check those out.
And the last reason that many Americans leave Spain is taxes. I think that's the question we get the most from Americans, is this fear of paying Spanish taxes, but also the misaligned expectation of how much tax you're going to pay.
Taxes can be confusing and probably more expensive than what you're used to, especially things like capital gains and the infamous wealth tax. The truth is that your pension or retirement account will probably be taxed once you move to Spain. There will also probably be a lot more forms that you're going to have to fill out and file. You have to declare your worldwide income to the Spanish government. That's the 720 form. If you have more than $10,000 in a foreign bank account, you have to fill out a different form called the F-bar. It's a lot to keep in mind. And again, like I said, that can be really daunting. These are not massive problems. They're just something that you need to anticipate
and understand.
Yeah. So one of the biggest mistakes that Americans can make before they move here is not talking to a wealth advisor to get very specific advice on their situation. Don't go to YouTube to talk to us. A little bit of research and preparation can save you thousands of dollars, but more importantly, save you the headache of not understanding what's going on.
Yeah, I think people also have this expectation that it's double tax. We're not paying double tax in Spain and in the United States. We're paying tax that's like aggregate of both of them.
This is all super complicated, but you pay your taxes in Spain first, and then you can subtract a lot of that from your tax liability in the US. Don't be someone who makes an expensive mistake. Talk to a pro, and you'll save yourself a lot of hassle. And maybe, honestly, moving to Spain might not be for you. So if this video didn't scare you, congratulations. You're ready to move to Spain.
Honestly, it's amazing. We absolutely love living here, but it doesn't come without the challenges. People always ask you, like, why did you live somewhere else? I mean, it's the adventure. You want something different. You want to experience something different, but you do have to embrace the challenges that come with that.
If Spain is the right place for you, you're going to fight through it. I think the struggle makes us appreciate it a little bit more. Having to like bang my brain against Spanish every day. It's fun. I'm growing. Having to make friends as an adult is awful. But the friendships that we've made here are fantastic. And I hope a lot of them will be lifelong friendships. It's worth it, but it's not easy and it's not for everyone. Yeah. The life that we're building is something that we're really proud of and we're happy to keep doing as we enter now what is our 3rd year in Spain.
So make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel for more adventures about life in Spain and ways to spend your days.
More bummers where we like ruin your dreams and tell you not to do something. You can also follow us on Instagram if you want more regular updates instead of just these weekly videos. We'd love to hear your questions and comments either on Instagram or right in the comments below. Let us know what you're freaked out about and we'll see if we can make a video about that.
Thank you so much for spending this day with us and good luck with your move to Spain.
Buena suerte.